Hello everyone, I welcome you all for our session 3 of chapter 8, Role of Parliament in a Democratic Country. So for our today's session, I'll be discussing some of the important topics like opposition party, important responsibilities of our members of parliament, and one more topic which is again very important, that is question hour session in parliament. So these three important topics are very important for you all to understand because it covers some of the important topics of the chapter. So question hour sessions, how it is conducted, and what is the objective behind the question hour session. Apart from that, what are the responsibilities of the members of parliament? Why it is so very important to oppose something which is done by opposition party. So some important topics like this I'll be discussing in today's session. So apart from this, the task that I'd given you in the last session, I'm sure you're doing it regularly to write a brief note on Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So it's very important for all of you to first understand the basics of this chapter. Only then you can understand the concepts like question hour sessions, responsibilities of the members of parliament. So please make sure that you do the task regularly so that it will help you in understanding the bigger terms. Okay, so keep on doing the homework that I give you and keep on revising the sessions as and when that comes to you. So we'll start our session. Question hour session in the parliament. So here we'll look into uh, what actually happens in the question hour session which is conducted in the parliament. Question hour is the first hour of a sitting session of India's Lok Sabha. It is devoted to questions that members of parliament ask related to any aspect of administrative activity. So question hour basically is started in the parliament in the first hour of a sitting session in the Lok Sabha, and basically questions are asked by the members of parliament in order to check uh, the different aspects of administrative activity. The question hour is one such mechanism in which the members ask questions on varied aspects of administration and governmental activity. So it is very important because when members ask questions on varied aspects of administration and governmental activity, somewhere the ministries who are functioning in the administration of the country will be more vigilant and they are accountable to every question which is asked by the members of the parliament. Members of parliament have a right to ask questions, which is one of the devices available to them to seek information on matters of public importance. So the members of parliament, they have right to ask questions, which is one of the devices available to them to seek information. So the members of parliament, what they do is when they ask questions, by this they can understand the condition of the policies that are framed for the public welfare. So it is a easy way in question hour. It's an easy way to identify the success of the policy. When they ask questions, they can understand how far the policy can work out for the people. So it's a good device in which they can seek information on matters of public importance. So the matters say like unemployment, poverty, these are some of the important issues that needs to be worked out well. During this 1 hour, members of parliament ask questions to ministers and hold them accountable for the functioning of their ministries. So during this 1 hour, members of parliament ask questions to ministers. So questions can be anything related to public importance. So this is a time when the members ask questions to the ministers and hold them accountable for the functioning of their ministries. So anything if they are doing wrong or if it is not as per the constitutional rules and regulations or it is not benefiting the people as a whole, then the ruling government has to change their policies and they have to give answers for every question which has been asked in the parliament. So this can help in better administration and for the betterment of the people. So question hour session is basically very important so that the ruling government is made more responsible towards the decisions that they take for the betterment of people. So this 1 hour is very crucial because it helps in better administration of the country. So now the next topic is the role of the opposition party. So here we'll look into the role of the opposition party and how it functions in order to make sure that the interest of the people is saved. The main role of the opposition party is to question the government on all matters and bills so that the government remains accountable to the people or to the public. So the role of opposition party is to question the government in all the matters, especially when a bill has been drafted and which is made an act. Especially in those cases, also opposition party always opposes various matters so that they are made more responsible for everything that they do. And the ruling government is always very conscious about what decisions they take because they know very well that they will be made accountable for everything. So opposition party makes sure that everything is checked, everything is questioned, and they do not allow anything to be sanctioned until and unless it is for the betterment of people. The principal role of the opposition party is to identify the weaknesses of the government and also give their inputs in legislation. So to identify the weaknesses of the government, so they constantly monitor the activities which are conducted by the government for the betterment of people. So they identify the weaknesses of the government and they also tell the weaknesses so that the government can improve and help in better administration, and they also give their inputs in legislation. So any laws which are being made which are against the constitutional rules and regulation, these kind of laws are not never passed in the parliament. They also oppose this kind of rules and regulations if it is not as per the constitutional rules and regulations. So they are constantly involving in everything which is of public importance, public matter. So they in a way put the ruling government in scanner and uh, tell them to do the work in a better way, and do not forget the interest of the people is their main objective. The opposition party helps form public opinion by democratically opposing the objectionable plans and policies of the government. So sometimes when the policies are not appropriate, then in that particular case they form public opinion and then they try to oppose the policies of the government. They make it look in such a way that proves the government that the policy is in a way a torture, exploitation to the people, so it needs to be changed. So government cannot do anything and everything when they go into power because the opposition party constantly shows their mistakes. They are also bound to listen to the opposition party because they are made responsible for everything. The government has to constantly be in control, and in such a way they have to function that benefits to the most uh, the larger sections of the people, and the administration also should be done in such a way that it does not cross the limits of the constitution. So the opposition party helps in functioning the government in such a way that it always looks into the matter and the benefit of the people. The success of democracy depends on a balanced relationship between the ruling and opposition party. So there should always be a balance between ruling and opposition party because that only can help in betterment of the administration. And the best way if any country can function is by the coordination of both these parties, ruling and opposition party. So if they are not going to look into the matters of people, if it is going to be just politics and not the betterment of people, then it cannot achieve its goal. So it's always desirable that the ruling and opposition party always works for the benefit of people and for the overall administration of the country. Now we'll look into the other important topic, that is responsibilities of the members of parliament. So what is the responsibilities which is allotted to the members of parliament by the constitution? So that we'll be looking into. So we'll just look into some of the important responsibilities in today's session. First is legislation. This is one of the important function of the members of parliament. The prime function of the members of parliament is to participate in the law making process. So the main function, the main goal of the members of parliament is to participate in the law making process. So any bill which is to be made as an act, so in that entire procedure, the role of members of parliament is very important, because without them the bill cannot become an act. So to make laws, the members of parliament are inevitable. The second main function is amendment to the constitution. The members of parliament take part in the amendment of constitutional provisions according to the necessity. So the members of parliament make sure that any changes that needs to be done in the constitution, any law that needs to be changed which is outdated and no more valid, in such situation members of parliament play an important role in amendments. So this is also one of the important function of the members of parliament. Now coming towards the end of the session, I'm sure you all enjoyed the session well. Now the task for home is to write down neatly in detail about the question hour session, and as well as write down about the role of opposition party. Since these two topics are very important, so all of you will need a revision for it. So write down neatly, learn it first and then write down, so it will be a revision for you, as well as you will understand these topics more better. So for our next session, I'll be discussing about chapter 9, that is the freedom movement of 1857 CE. This chapter is also very interesting, and it's one of the important event of Indian history. So I'm sure as much as information possible you can collect, and you can be ready for our next session, because it's going to be one of the interesting chapter of Indian history, and it's also one of the important chapter. So please be ready with some handy information so that you can enjoy the session.